Listen, if your New Year's resolution in 2025 is to get a new job, you need to start right now. And right now doesn't mean it's going to take a lot of time, it's going to take a lot of effort. It is so much simpler to land a job than you're giving yourself credit for, because you've got tons of value to offer. And in this week's episode, I'm going to give you the 3 keys to making that happen a lot faster than you think. I'm Elissa Shuck, ex-corporate hiring manager, middle manager turned leadership and career coach. It wasn't all that long ago that I experienced layoffs, narcissistic bosses, toxic work environments, and leadership challenges that had me wondering, why in the world did I ever get into management? But I've also had 12 career promotions. I co-founded a company. I've made multiple industry pivots and turned around poor performing teams. I've achieved everything I set out to do and imagined that I could do in my career. I created the Love Your Work Life podcast to give you simple, actionable, step-by-step strategies to help you do the same. If you're a high-achieving employee and leader, or you're one in the making who's looking to create a career instead of letting it happen on default, who wants a work life that feels happy and satisfying, you're in the right place, my friend. Let's get started. A healthy workplace can mean different things to different people, but I believe there's some common denominators that apply universally. It's where there is transparency, where leaders are sharing what's going on, where they're giving people the space and safety to be themselves, where you're getting a place where you can use your skills, your gifts, your talents, your experience on a daily basis. I always say that we are wired for community and contribution. Like if we can contribute at the highest level and be appreciated for it and be part of a ecosystem, a community where, gosh, everything is running like a well-oiled machine, man, that's a healthy workplace where you're appreciated, you're engaged, you're enjoying what you do. You have a sense of satisfaction and fulfillment. But here's the reality: stressed out. Oh my gosh, how much more of this can I take? And the sad thing is that the stress starts to seep into other areas of your life, right? It's not just staying at work, but it's traveling with you. So your family life, you don't have any energy for family or the personal things that you love to do. Maybe you start getting short and curt with people that you really love because the stress is just starting to be too much. Also, overwhelm. I can't even, like, don't even go there. Don't give me one more thing to do. Don't call me into your office one more time to have another meeting that's going to result in no decisions and me having to go back and scramble and figure things out. Like those are overwhelm is a huge part of what the reality is in a toxic job. And crushed. Like sometimes it's just soul crushing because you thought it was going to work out and it's not. I remember having my very first meeting, being hired on. They had just created the job. Like they didn't have someone in my role before, and they had created the position. And I thought that they knew exactly why they brought me in because I had a particular set of skills that was going to help them. And I got a little clue my first meeting where I started sharing a strategy and boom. Okay, thanks. Yeah, that's not the way we do it. It must not be working the way you do it because you hired me. Like that's what I was thinking. That's not what I was saying. But that was one moment very early on where I felt crushed. And that can happen day after day after day. If you're not feeling heard, if you're not feeling listened to, if you're not getting a chance to really leverage the value that you bring to the table, it can feel crushing. Here's what we want, right? Here's the goal. Here's what we want out of a workplace. We want to feel centered. We want to feel that sense of stability where everything is lined up, everything is set up so that we can be doing our jobs and doing them well. There's no chaos, there's no misunderstandings. Everything has a place. And you in that place can feel so centered. That's what we're looking for. That's the goal. Balance, right? Instead of sense of overwhelm where you're tossed and turned in every different way, we want the sense of balance. Yes, this could be a spinning top. Yes, you could move fast. You can do all the things, but it's possible to have a sense of balance around all of that. And of course, we want our workplaces, our jobs to be enjoyable, fun, satisfying. Like, who wouldn't want to just be like, this job feels like a vacation? I remember feeling that way. I left one job for another, and the stress relief after leaving that job, I felt like I was on vacation. And when people were asking me, well, how's your new job? I would say, it feels like I'm on vacation. Not that I wasn't working and not that there wasn't demands, but everything about it just had an intangible quality that was enjoyable, fun, satisfying. I want that for you too. We all want that. There was a time when I was sitting in my boss's office. Now, we were doing year end job performance reviews, and I expected a good report. I really did. I had actually gotten two promotions at that job. I started out as a receptionist. I went from receptionist to salesperson. I went from salesperson to sales manager. And I expected a good report. My team was doing great, satisfied, but looking for more. And that's exactly where I was in this job. I just had this sense that, okay, great. Thank you for the accolades. Thank you for acknowledging, but I want more. And I expressed that I wanted more. And I was told, this is as far as you can go. There's no other roles here for you. There are no other responsibilities we can give you. Good on you, but this is it. You've maxed out here. Now, I don't know about you, but as a high achiever, like that was not the right thing to say to me because I love working. I love using my skills. I love the opportunity to grow. And I wasn't even necessarily looking for a new job title. I was just like, how else can I contribute? What else can I do? And I knew that now that I learned that that wasn't going to be possible, I had to start thinking, right? I knew that one of my key drivers, one of my motivators was opportunities to contribute at a higher level. So I had to make a decision. I had to decide, am I staying? Am I going? And it wasn't just a decision to go, it was a decision to believe that I could go somewhere else, start over somewhere else, and continue to grow, continue to contribute, continue to do more and be more. And here's the revelation that I had. I had this revelation that, oh, you know what? Leveraging your value combined with a clear picture of what you want inspires action that gives you ultimate control over your career. Because when I made that decision to say, nope, this is what I want a place that gives me growth opportunities. I know the value that I bring. I combined those things and I was like, oh my gosh, I can go from here to here. And this was a lesson that served my entire career. I can think of that decision of saying, no, I'm not going to settle for the ceiling that they set for me. I'm going to move on. I'm going to go on to believing that I can have control over my career. That's like, hey, I don't have to worry if I find myself in a place that tells me I've gone as far as I can. I don't have to worry if I'm in a place where there's a narcissistic boss who is not allowing me to thrive, whose poor behavior is pushing me down and diminishing me on a regular basis. Listen, you can have ultimate control over your career. Here's the three must haves in order for you to do that. The first one is unstoppable mindset. You have to have this feeling of, oh my gosh, I can do anything. I'm not worried. I can handle it. One day I was coming back from lunch and I immediately got pulled into a meeting. Now, the company I was working for was, making some changes. We were doing some things to try to um, increase business, new strategies, and we had a consultant in the business who was helping us do those things. So I come back from lunch and I immediately get called into a meeting with that consultant. And it wasn't that unusual because my role in the company, he had been, meeting with me and we were talking about product strategy and margins and things like that. So I wasn't sure what it was about, but it was kind of strange that it wasn't on the calendar. It was like, hurry, hurry, come in and have this meeting. Well, what had happened while I was away at lunch is my boss got fired and my boss's boss got fired. And this consultant was now taking over as interim CEO. Talk about a kind of holy cow moment. Now, I could have got into a lot of fear and uncertainty in that moment. Because when that happens, you could think, gosh, am I in? Am I out? What else is going to happen here? But here's where my unstoppable mindset went. I was like, oh my gosh, there might be an opportunity for me here. I thought I was working in a place where I had gone as far as I can go, just like that other job. In fact, I was casually looking because I wasn't sure if there was going to be any more opportunities for me there. So instead of embracing fear and uncertainty, I embraced an unstoppable mindset and started thinking about, where do I fit in this new paradigm that's going on in this company? My friends, that is how you can look at anything. This is why this is so important, because you can what an unstoppable mindset really means is you can reframe any situation that you want to. You can stop in a moment and say, is this happening to me? Or as Tony Robbins says, is this happening for me? I chose the mindset, this is happening for me. Where do I go from here? How do I show up in a way that sets me up for deeper levels of success? I love this quote by Viktor Frankl. Everything can be taken from us but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. So, where is your mindset on a scale of 1 to 10? Do you have an unstoppable mindset? How easy is it for you to reframe a situation that you find yourself in? Just think about that right now. Put yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 on that. If you were to shift your mindset, what impact could it have? And that shift doesn't have to be major. It can be a tiny little reframe. One of my favorites is, what if this isn't about me? That's such a little mindset shift. If you were able to make these little shifts, what kind of impact would it have? Something to think about, something to process. The second thing is magnifying your value. This is about knowing, a, a deep knowing of the value that you bring to the table. Now, it's very easy for people to think that your value is wrapped up in your professional experience, in the opportunities that you've had, in the degrees that you have, the letters next to your name. Listen, that is not the kind of value that I am talking about. I'm talking about a value that helps you connect the dots from where you are to where you want to go. When I was working for a company that had just gotten acquired. Like we had really, really good, it was an international company. We had great business in the United States. We were on all cylinders. It was very, very exciting. And then the company got acquired. Now, those acquisitions, right? Unstoppable mindset has to come into play again because anytime a company gets acquired, there's a little bit of uncertainty. Are they going to come in and change everything? What's going to happen? And I took that again, applying my unstoppable mindset as, hey, this is cool because now we're owned by an even bigger company. What can I learn? Where could this possibly go? And so I learned everything about the processes that the company uses, the ways that they developed product, the ways that they managed margins, and there was so much cool stuff happening. And at the time, I was a national sales manager. There were actually two of us that were national sales managers. I also knew that we weren't really maximizing everything that I brought to the table. Now, what I brought to the table in terms of the big box type retailers was good, but gosh, once I got exposed to the way our new parent company was managing their business and the kind of analysis that they were doing, and it was incredible. I'm telling you, it really lit me up. That was like it really tapped into one of my passions. So, with boldness, with an unstoppable mindset, and magnifying my value, I went to my boss and suggested that we create a whole new position for me. He was kind of shocked, as one might understand. But here's why it worked. Here's why I got that position for myself is because I was able to magnify my value. I was able to articulate what it was about me that could help the business move forward, the difference I could make. It was this combination of the things I knew about myself and the experiences that I could bring to the table that would elevate the organization. This is what magnifying your value is about. I love this quote by Eleanor Roosevelt. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. That boss, he said, "Yeah, that sounds like a good idea, Elissa, but I don't think that's a full-time job. I don't think analyzing our business is a full-time job." Now, that might have made me feel a little inferior, but I did not consent to that. I said, "No, you just watch me. Can you commit to identifying and magnifying your value? Can you take some time and think about what are the things that I bring to the table that'll make a difference?" Man, committing to this makes all the difference for you. I hope you can commit to identifying and magnifying your value. The third thing is practical strategies. You've got to have an unstoppable mindset. You have to magnify your value, but you've got to back it up with practical strategies. And this is what I call the job search success framework. It starts with storytelling. And storytelling is just you connecting the dots between what you've done and what you want to do. It's helping the other person connect the dots as well, because you need them to see the relevance, the alignment of your skills, your strengths, your experience, your contributions, the impact that you've had. So they see you as the solution to their problems. Storytelling is marketing. And listen, my friends, marketing doesn't have to be weird and salesy. It is just you talking about you in a way that transfers enthusiasm, in a way that helps them see how you can make their life easier and better. The next part of the job search success framework is the tools of the trade. These are the tangibles. This is an awesome resume. This is a LinkedIn profile that is optimized for search so people can find you. Or if you reach out to someone because they've posted a job, or you're networking on LinkedIn and they jump back over to your profile, they can see the value that you bring. You can see where I'm going with all of this. You want to have things put together in a way that serves you, but also serves the other person, making it really easy for them to understand the value you bring to the organization. And last but not least is you want to have a way to identify the opportunities that are aligned with you. You can be looking on Indeed or LinkedIn. You know, I'm a huge LinkedIn fan, so I'm always going to go there. But finding the opportunities is about you having so much clarity about what you want that you're leveraging your reticular activating system, that sensory process in your brain that helps you see the right opportunities so that all of your activity is really efficient. That means the networking and all that stuff is all coming together because you're so focused that the opportunities you are seeing are the opportunities that fit. So on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you with your practical strategies? Do you have your storytelling down? You got to have it down. Do you have your tools down? That means, do you have a great resume? Do you have a LinkedIn profile that is telling people about your value add, that is like a magnet because it's optimized for the kind of search that is happening on LinkedIn? Do you have a way to find the jobs and get in front of humans, those opportunities to tell your story? I don't know where you are, put yourself on a 1 to 10. But if you were to master these strategies, what kind of impact would it have if all of these things were in play? Another Viktor Frankl quote: when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. This is the ultimate challenge: to change yourself, to build that unstoppable mindset, to go deep and find that, mine yourself for the gold that is your value, and magnify it, and then change your way of doing things. Get some practical strategies that work in helping you with your job search. Are you willing to change yourself? Get unstuck and leave the toxic workplace, make the career pivot, give yourself a promotion when you're in a place that doesn't have those kinds of opportunities. This is the kind of control that you can have over your career. But it's up to you to decide that it's possible. And let's take it a step further. What would your life look like 3 months, 6 months, even 3 years from now, if you did make those changes, if you did put those 3 must-haves into play. Every day you stay in the toxic workplace, every day that you stay in a job that isn't leveraging the true capacity that you have for contribution, or in a job where you're undervalued and not able to make those moves up, the worse it gets. Every day it builds and builds and builds. There's no reason for you to stay there. So that's why I want you to reach out. Find me on LinkedIn, Elissa Shuck. Click the button, schedule a meeting, schedule an appointment. I call it a possibility session because I want us to talk about how you can finally land the job. Listen, if your New Year's resolution in 2025 is to get a new job, you need to start right now. And for anybody who starts now, it is the month of October 2024. I have an incredible bonus for you that is going to take away any and all reservations you have about the uncertainty in the market, about how long it takes to land a job. So schedule that meetup. Again, go to my LinkedIn profile, click set an appointment. We'll talk it through. And I promise you, when we do meet, you will walk away with some incredible insights specific to you, completely actionable, that will turn the tide of your job situation. You can actually love your work life. It is not a pipe dream. It's absolutely possible. Let's make it happen for you. All right, my friends, I'll talk to you again soon. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and please visit elissashuck-careercoach.com for more information about how I can help you with your career and leadership goals. Talk to you soon.